Welcome to this edition of Get to Know Your Wayne State football program for the upcoming 2024 campaign. I'm Sports Information Director Jeff Weiss, and joined today by Antwon Robinson. We'll talk special teams today. Let's start off, I guess, with the biggest news of the summer. First team on GLIAC kicker Griffin Milovansky returning to the fold.
Yeah. It was like you see Wolf on Wall Street, where I'm not going anywhere. That's kind of what Griffin was like. So it's great to get Griffin back.
Obviously, you had a number of other kickers. Jeremy Terrace, who handled the punting duties. Griffin Nowak, who was a freshman last year. You brought in a couple of other young kickers, Avery Birch and Anthony Markowski. So definitely some competition there behind Griff.
So I'm not going to say behind Griff, with Griff.
Okay.
So that's the biggest thing is Jeremy was able to do all aspects throughout the spring. So is Griffin Nowak. So everything's going to be an open competition there. Bringing in Avery is going to be big because Avery adds a dynamic of actually running some schematics that we don't used to run.
Okay.
But he also can kick the ball a country mile. So that's great to have those guys, and they're all offsetting years as well.
Mm-hmm.
So kind of like how we did last year, where we had Max Fisher, to where we got a three-headed monster at least, and then we'll have some guys kick for scout team.
Sounds great. Speaking of kicking and snapping and stuff like that, you've got Nico Davis back. Obviously had a strong true freshman campaign. What do you expect from Nico? And Tommy Wahardo is also back, who could also do some snapping for you guys.
So Nico is in the weight room putting on some muscle because Nico got his first tackles last year. So Nico is, I think Coach Weedy actually mentioned that. But Nico is great right now. You know, he's great with the guys. He's snapping every day. We're working on an operation. That's the biggest thing. Tommy as well. You know, Tommy playing some tight end, but Tommy's really invested in long snapping. And Mikey O'Brien. Mikey O'Brien may get some short snapping duty in.
Sounds great. Hopefully Nico's also on the milkshake diet this summer.
He's on everything. He's on everything.
Punting, you talked about Jeremy doing a nice job last year with that. Obviously got to practice that quite a bit in the spring. And then Griffin got to practice punting as well, and he's a left-footed kicker.
Yeah, so
Griffin Nowak, I guess.
Griffin Nowak.
Griffin 2.0.
So with all the kickers, when you look at it, 3 righties, 2 lefties, right? So based off what we want to do schematically, it dictates who's kind of out there. But everything's gonna always be an open competition.
Sounds like the Detroit Tigers starting lineup there. You know,
Hey.
on the mound, you got a righty one day and a lefty the next day. You know.
Hey, versatility.
Return game, obviously very important. I mean, it's the third facet of the game. You got some guys with some experience, and Manny Harris back at kickoff returns. What do you expect from the kickoff return unit this year?
You remember when Steve Neal led the kickoff return unit?
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 in the country. That's what we plan to be. You know, end up using Manny Harris, like you said, Pierce Mathui Edwards, Joe Sean Lewis, Keywan and Demir Farnham, Keywan Houston, just a lot of different guys, right? Based off our scheme, is going to call for a lot of different guys to be out there. And then even with punt return, Pierce. So Pierce has really came on strong in the spring. So
Had a nice catch in the spring game.
yeah, since I caught you DB, yeah.
Oh, sorry about that. This is your special teams hat, not your DB hat.
But Pierce is good for us. Justice Tuggle.
Okay.
To get Justice Tuggle out there as well is great. Just to have these dynamic players, and we're just trying to find ways to get the ball in their hands.
I know last year Max Fisher, like you're talking about, the three-headed monster of kickers, was the holder. Who do you expect to take over the holding duties this year?
So when I was a special teams coordinator at Fairmont State, I had Joe Sean Lewis holding. Joe Sean Lewis is transferring in here to play some receiver, but he's also going to do some holding duties. Mm-hmm. Tyler Swick has been working on some holding stuff. Miles McCaffrey.
Okay. That's a big body to have as a holder.
Miles, he says he does everything. He's practiced some holding, but Miles McCaffrey may be in the mix too.
Okay, sounds good. Well, it looks like it'll be an interesting camp for the special teams unit with 5 kickers battling it out to see who gets on the bus to Tiffin.
September 5th.
Sounds great. Thanks again for watching this edition of Get to Know Your Wayne State football program.